Cramming NCERT is in your hands, so do not skip it. That is the lowest hanging fruit, that is getting bio right. So the first target which you need to do in order to boost up your marks is targeting QIQs well. Or was it because you are having a problem in memorization? Or is it that you are doing too many calculation mistakes, too many silly? The last 15 days, yes. Are you really that near to get your admission confirmed? Just the last 15 days to sit for one of the most competitive examinations for India, besides lakhs and lakhs of other students with maybe more or maybe less compatibilities compared to you to get selected. So here we go in this video, without wasting much time of yours, giving you a checklist so that you can keep a track of what are the points which you have to cover for you to diagnose how far you have got in your journey right. First point, physics NCERT. Now, a lot of theory questions in physics may be there, and they form like about 16 to 20 marks in physics itself, because you have a chance of getting at least 4 to 5 questions based on theory. And since each question weighs for about 4 marks, and you no more have the choice to select which questions you want to attempt or not in the section B. So right now I think you must give your full hard work towards attempting each and every question. I mean, as far as you can, definitely not attempting a question which can go wrong. So now let me tell you one thing, that if you are the one who have not done physics NCERT, then at least try completing the volume 2 of chapter 12 physics NCERT, because a lot of theory questions roam about from that particular section only. But if you are someone who have already done physics NCERT from before, you have done reading, you have marked which portions are important, you have really read and prepared yourself accordingly, then what you can do is that definitely go for one last minute reading and revision of physics NCERT before you are about to give your exam. That is in the last 15 days, make sure that your physics NCERT reading is done once again. Then coming to the chapters like morphology of flowering plants or anatomy of flowering plants, a lot of students face problems, and especially they face problems in remembering the examples, right? So what you can do is that make a chart with the features and the examples. Okay, whenever you are studying or learning chapters like this, make sure that you study feature wise, right? Like for example, if you get a question on which of the following plants show racemose inflorescence. So what can you do is that you firstly need to remember what are the families which show racemose inflorescence. Then you go and keep ticking those options in the question which come under those particular families which show racemose inflorescence. So you have to prepare yourself, you have to prepare the examples chart of these chapters with respect to the families. If you are still facing problem in remembering the examples per families, what you can do is that write down again and again at least 5 times without seeing the examples. Do the rote learning properly when it comes to examples, because that you cannot, sometimes even mnemonics fail you, right? So make sure that whenever you're facing problem in any sort of memorization thing, write it down again and again, because for certain things we cannot help but use memorization. Common sense doesn't help you out in everywhere, at least not in remembering examples. Then point number 3, know how to set your priorities, know how to solve the paper. Like if right now you are about at a stage of 550, or maybe you're at a stage of 650, you want to push your marks forward by 50 to 100 marks, what you need to do is that you need to work accordingly. You need to make your mistake book, and besides your mistake in the mistake book, you must write down the cause of the mistake. So at the end, tally what are the causes of your mistake. Is it because you haven't read NCERT properly? Is it because you have skipped certain topics of NCERT? So like the questions maybe came from certain topics, from certain paragraphs of NCERT, but since you skipped those while reading, you were unable to answer. Or maybe was it because you are skipping the topics of your class notes? Was it because you haven't done your PYQs well? Or was it because you are having a problem in memorization? Or is it that you are doing too many calculation mistakes, too many silly mistakes? And I bet that most of the questions you would get wrong just because you got your silly mistakes in between, right? So what can you really do? Look, I would go into each and every subject and explain in details. Like for biology, I must say that you know, right, that you would get a maximum about 330 to 340 out of the 360 just by making sure that you have done NCERT. Cramming NCERT is in your hands, so do not skip it. That is the lowest hanging fruit, that is getting bio right. So the first target which you need to do in order to boost up your marks is targeting biology, is reading biology properly, because there may be certain sums, at least 2 to 3 sums of physics, which won't get into your head. You might have to skip it in your examination, but for biology, you can do it quickly and effectively, also accurately, if you have done your NCERT right. Now let's get to chemistry. Most of the things will be that, I guess, if you're lagging behind in chemistry, it's because you are messing up with the ascending or the descending orders, right? And so make sure that the tables of NCERT are done properly, the reactions are done properly, the examples are done properly, right? It's mostly, chemistry is mostly NCERT based. NCERT contains a very thick amount of information when it comes to inorganic chemistry at least. Now let's get to physics. Most of the questions in physics, I believe there are 2 ways you can increase about 20 marks in physics. One is that you cram your physics NCERT and you get a good hold of the theory questions. Many of the times it appears that even a student has gotten good in the calculation part, he or she falls behind just because the theory part isn't groomed well, right? Even if you sometimes have the concept, but the kind of questions which tend to appear in the physics theory part may seem out of league, you know, because sometimes if you do not give a reading to the theory portion of your physics NCERT, you wouldn't, like, the concept wouldn't strike right away into your head while you are sitting in the examination hall, right? Your brain isn't always that much working optimally while you are in your examination hall, unless you are already thorough with that particular topic from before. Or there is one other way in which your physics can be done, that is avoiding silly mistakes, avoiding calculation mistakes. Point number 4, take sane breaks. Do not study if you are not mentally or physically focused or present right at the study table. It's very, very important that you study only when you have slept enough, you have had food enough, right? Or if you have, like, if you don't study with a lot of headache, don't study with a lot of load on your head. Get rest, because even your long hours of study won't yield anything if you have not studied good. You would mess up even the known things, and those incidences where you miss out on those things which you have already read would eat you up the rest of your life. So make sure that you study peacefully, that you give, whenever you're going to give the exam, you have taken rest. Whenever you are sitting to study, you have already taken rest before. Your mind should be active and should be optimally used, right? Now point number 5, tests. The mode must be offline and the frequency must be every day. You have already reached the end of your preparation journey, and it's no time that you sit to learn new concepts. So in case you are giving tests and you come across new concepts, like you come across certain things which are not there in NCERT, you come across certain things which you have not done previously in PYQ, it's not the time that you sit for those concepts. Set those aside. Analyze yourself on the basis of the information which you already have, on the basis of the knowledge, on the basis of the concepts which you have already gone through, not on something else. So best of luck to all the students. Probably I'll definitely release one more video as well before your exams to wish you guys luck. Thank you.